Well, greetings, my dear friends and fellow patriots and truth seekers worldwide. Greetings from Boise, Idaho. This is your buddy Steve Motley. It is early morning, Friday morning, the 15th day of January in the year of our Lord 2021. And I think it's about time we got this party started. You know what I'm saying? TGIF, baby. Thank God it's Friday. It's the last work day of the week. I know many of you going to be heading home this afternoon to chill. Maybe you're going to go out to eat tonight. Maybe you're going to go to the bar and have a drink. Maybe you're going to roll up a big old fat doobie and go out back and smoke it. I don't know what you're going to do, but I hope whatever it is you do, you enjoy it, because this is going to be an interesting weekend, friends. And this may be one of the most normal weekends you're going to have in a while. Because I'm going to lay it out to you tonight in this video. I'm going to tell you what's going on. You know, I've done a couple videos over the last few days. They've gotten big views, but the problem was the last one I did was 2 hours and 30 minutes long, and the one before that was about an hour 30. So I've promised all my friends that I was going to condense things down tonight or this morning in this video, and I was going to do my best to lay out some facts for you that'll help you rest easy over the weekend and maybe enjoy some football games. But listen, I'm going to tell you there's going to be a couple things happening soon. All right, there's going to be. There's going to be a lot of D-class taking place. President Trump has told Ezra Cohen Watnick, who has been put in charge of making sure the D-class takes place. But right now, everything dealing with Obamagate, everything that Obama and his team used to spy on President Trump during the campaigning and before the election and after the election, it's going to all be exposed. It's all being put out to the public. And as more and more Americans read and study what really transpired, they're going to start waking up en masse. You know, one of the objectives of QAnon, as I've told everybody many times, is to awaken the masses. And Q is responsible for awakening lots of people. And some of you out there fall into that category. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to talk much about QAnon here on this video. I kind of spoke my piece about it last night, and you can believe whatever you want relative to it, but I'm more interested in all of this declassification of documents that's just going to blow your mind. But, for the last few days, I've been doing these videos and telling everybody, don't fret, don't worry, don't panic. I know a lot of you are stressed out. A lot of people are not sleeping well at night because everything's up in the air and nobody really knows who's going to be inaugurated on the 20th. Okay. But I love those findings of fact. I love giving to you factual information that you can fact check it, and you know that it's absolutely the way it is. So I want to start with something tonight that I've alluded to in a couple of my other podcasts and videos, but I feel like I need to elaborate it on for you here in this particular video, because it's such a vital piece, and it will become even more vital on Inauguration Day and then in the ensuing days after that. And that is the actions of FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Act. And unbeknownst to probably a lot of you, on the 11th of January, just a couple of days ago, President Trump signed an executive order. And I think this thing is so important that I'm going to read it to you. It's not that long, but I want you all to pay close attention to these words and ask yourself, Why would President Trump, an outgoing president, sign an executive order with this information in it? Now, you be thinking about that. Keep your mind open. But here's what it says. This was the title. President approves District of Columbia Emergency Declaration. That's the title. Today, President Donald J. Trump declared that an emergency exists in the District of Columbia and ordered federal assistance to supplement the district's response efforts due to the emergency conditions resulting from the 59th presidential inauguration from January the 11th to January 24th. Okay, so let me read on. The president's action authorizes the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA to coordinate. Wait a minute, I don't want to miss any pages here. Did this stick together? Hell yeah. I knew there was a page back there. Okay, so it says, the president's action authorizes the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA to conduct all disaster relief efforts which have the purpose of alleviating the hardships and suffering caused by the emergency on the local population and to provide appropriate assistance for required emergency measures authorized under Title V of the Stafford Act to save lives and protect property and public health and safety, and to lessen or avert the threat of a catastrophe in the District of Columbia. Specifically, FEMA is authorized to identify, mobilize, and provide at its discretion equipment and resources necessary to alleviate the impacts of the emergency. Emergency protective measures limited to direct federal assistance will be provided at 100% federal funding. In other words, the president's saying whatever FEMA needs, FEMA gets at 100% federal funding from the government. Nobody has to worry about it. Now, there's something, this all sounds to me like something very, very big is coming. And I believe it is, and I'm going to share with you what I think it is here in a minute. But let me finish reading this. Here's the last page. It says, Pete Gaynor, administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, named Thomas J. Fargione as the federal coordinating officer for federal recovery operations in the affected area. So I'm thinking, now who is this Tom Fargione? What's his background? Well, I looked him up. He was a police officer for 31 years in New York. He had 18 years of special investigator. He was a special investigator for the police force for 18 years. For 10 years, he was involved in EMS rescue, emergency management, and those sorts of things. So it sounds like he's highly qualified. I also found out he's a real big Trump supporter. But what about this Pete Gaynor? Do any of you out there know anything about this new administrator that was sworn into office in January of 2020? It seems that Peter T. Gaynor came on the scene and became the acting administrator of FEMA. He was appointed by President Trump on March the 8th, 2019. And a little less than a year later, he became the actual administrator. He's a 63-year-old from Warwick, Rhode Island. And he also, just a couple weeks ago, became the acting Secretary of the Homeland Security. So he's kind of dual-hatted right now. But what else do we know about Peter T. Gaynor? Well, friends, you know how I feel about the Marine Corps. You know, my website here is Retired Marine Sounds Off. And when I discovered what I did today about who Peter T. Gaynor is, and I know him, how about that? I didn't know he was the administrator of FEMA, but I knew about him when he was on active duty. We were in the Marine Corps at the same time. But this gentleman has 26 years of dedicated service to the Corps. He was an enlisted Marine, but he retired as a lieutenant colonel. Okay? And I'm just going to tell you about one assignment he had. And if you know anything about the military, I don't need to tell you anything else. But for quite a while, he was with the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, we call it IMEF. He was the Combat Operations Coordinator in the Anbar Province over in Afghanistan. Okay? And this guy's the real deal. Now, think about this. You've got a 26-year, highly decorated Marine as the head of FEMA. Now, FEMA plays a very, very large role during national disasters. Well, let me remind everybody out there watching this video that we are under all sorts of national emergencies, all the way back to COVID-19. And when we're in special emergencies like we are now, it gives the President of the United States a lot of special powers that he or she does not normally have. So when people like Mike Pompeo and that pillow guy, what's his name, Mike Lindell, and myself even, I'll throw myself in that group. When we come out here and do videos and podcasts and different things, and I've been telling you all along that they're, and Alex Jones would say, this is QAnon speaking, that QAnon said President Trump is invincible. Number one, QAnon never said that. QAnon has never incited violence. QAnon has not done half of the things that people like Alex Jones say it has. QAnon is a worthy organization. And with Pete Gaynor, this decorated Marine, at the helm of FEMA, when FEMA goes into action and what's about to happen starting on Inauguration Day, there's going to be a lot going down. But right now, the Democrats think that the 15,000 plus National Guard troops in Washington, D.C., the Democrats think they're there to protect them from what they understand is going to be massive attacks and rioting on Inauguration Day by the Patriot supporters, by the Trump Patriot supporters. When they find out that Biden has been inaugurated, the Patriots are going to attack the Capitol and so forth. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm telling the Patriots not to even go to D.C. There's absolutely no sense in it. And likewise, I'm going to basically strongly suggest to all of you out there that you do not attend the rallies at your state capitol this weekend on the 16th of January. Don't put yourself in a potential false situation or something that you'll regret doing. I'm staying home. I'm encouraging all my fellow patriots to stay home. The president does not want any violence, because if something breaks out, it can be blamed on the patriots, and then they'll immediately try to start taking our guns. And we all know that ain't going to happen. So to avoid a real civil war, we need to highly encourage all of our patriot friends to stand down on this Saturday. Do not go to the rallies if you can help it. If you do, do not go armed. Take no weapons, but instead take your camera. Take lots of video footage, video everything, picture everything. So if you need to, you can use those pictures in your defense, because these are some really, really demonic entities we're dealing with here. They are very ruthless. But before I get into the depth of this, you need to understand that with FEMA being called out, being given basically an unlimited budget, they're expecting a lot of casualties of some sort. Well, the casualties are most likely going to be the Antifa and BLM that are going to go absolutely ballistic when they find out that Joe Biden is not going to be their communist president, but rather they're going to get 4 more years of Donald Trump. Friends, we're going to clean up that swamp. We're going to straighten things up. And there's going to be some things that are going to happen this weekend and over the next few weeks that you need to be aware of. Okay? But when the bloom goes up, those National Guard troops are no longer going to protect the Democrats, but rather they're going to be turned on the Democrats, and they'll be putting flex cuffs and handcuffs on all of them, because there's going to be massive numbers of Democrats and Republicans that are going to be arrested prior to the inauguration. And now in this impeachment, President Trump has been impeached for the second time. It carries absolutely no weight, and it will be absolved as soon as both of them will be absolved as soon as President Trump becomes president for the second term, because so much illegal activity and criminal activity has taken place within the deep state globalist Illuminati that it has to be fumigated. It has to be stripped out. These people are going to be arrested. Now, we had 10 GOP traitors yesterday that voted to impeach President Trump. I want to read each one of them. You may want to grab your pad and pen and jot their names down. I'll read them slow, but I will guarantee you these people will never be reelected to anything. And we need to get their names out and make sure all of the patriots are aware that these are the traitors. Number 1, Liz Cheney from Wyoming. Does that surprise anybody? Having a father who was the perpetrator of the 9/11 false flag event, 9/11/2001. How about Tom Rice from South Carolina? Oh yeah, he's a traitor. Dan Newhouse from Washington State. What about Anthony Gonzalez from Ohio? If I call one of these out and it's in your state, by all means run it back, get the name, jot it down, and remember it and pass it on. Fred Upton in Michigan, he's a traitor. What about Jamie Herrera Butler from Washington State? You better mark him down. How about John Katko, Katko, from New York? Dan David, David, Valadao, from California. David Valdio from California. How about Peter Meyer from Michigan? Peter Meyer from Michigan. And of course, as I said, Jamie Herrera Butler. Well, friends, if you're a GOP, if you're one of those 10, and you cast your votes with the demon rats to impeach President Trump, your days are numbered. So you might as well start packing your trash and get ready to get out of here, because you ain't got much of a future in politics. and you'll be ignored even while you're serving out your term because, man, when you're a traitor, that's a pretty rough pill to swallow. But, President Trump told us through QAnon that when the time had come, he would get out there on Twitter or whatever and he'd announce that, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. And then you'd start to see some other wild things happen. Well, they took his Twitter account away. He never got to be on Parler. So President Trump never really had a forum where he could do that. But that's what's going to happen very, very soon. Either could be Saturday, could be Sunday, Monday. But President Trump's going to make the announcement, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. And that will be the signal to all patriots that it has started. And this might be a good time to go in your house and lock yourself in. Because either Sunday or Monday, the emergency broadcasting is going to begin. I understood that there's going to be 5 initial broadcasts. Or 7, I think, 7. The president's going to come out and make 7 announcements. It'll come over your cell phones and the TV and other devices. But the internet's going to shut down for a season. All TVs will cease to work. Your cell phones may not work for a few days. You may not be able to communicate with your friends across the country. Do not panic. There's actually going to be 10 days. We've speculated at different times about what was the 10 days of darkness. I kind of led everybody to believe that at the beginning of the 10th of the month through the 20th, I kind of made people think that was the 10 days of darkness. I'm not so sure. Maybe the 10 days of darkness will start at the inauguration. But I do know there's going to be some upheaval. There's going to be some major blackouts. And I would ask everybody to stay calm, go with the flow. Just go with the flow. And this too shall pass. And we'll come out the backside much better patriots and with greater understanding than we have right now. And so, friends, I'm here to tell you that there will be a brighter day. The best is yet to come. But President Trump did, in fact, he looked at many, many options. He tried going through the feds, the Supreme Court. None of that worked out. Everybody lied. They turned the president away. Mike Pence became a Benedict Arnold, a great traitor. He's a terrorist. He's going to be convicted of capital of punishment offenses. He was part of the deception. He made some wrong decisions. My understanding is he's got a deep background in pedophilia. He'd probably be one of the first people to go. But the fact of the matter is, I'm here to try to once again cut through the minutiae and give you some hardcore facts that you can use. And one of those facts is that President Trump will be our next president. But we may have to go through a lot of grief between now and then. So praise God that he signed that Insurrection Act and that he's now in control of the National Guard that are holding up the fence at these different positions. But what if on Inauguration Day, the National Guard is given a new mission statement and they go start arresting the Pelosi's and Schumers and other people of the planet? And this is going to occur worldwide. There's Americans hiding out in foreign countries, but we know where they are, and they're going to face justice as well. So, you go see a lot of the mainstream media shut down. There may only be one accessible channel, and that will to be determined. But that's most likely what we'll do is have one channel, but it'll be broadcasting for 10 days in a row, broken down into 3-hour sessions. It may be giving people instructions and educating people on the truth as to what's been going on during the deep, dark days of the deep state globalists. What's been going on behind the scenes for months now that very few people were aware of or privy to. So the storm is upon us, friends. And if it's 10 days of darkness or whatever it is, you need to prepare. You make sure you got enough water, candles, flashlights, batteries, whatever it is you need to sustain yourself. Generators. Do you need to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get a generator and set it outside your house and turn it on so that the meat don't go bad in the freezer or whatever your interesting case may be? But every one of you's got to take care of your family. And if that means running and getting a generator, then so be it. Do whatever you got to do to prepare yourself. And once you've done that, you'll rest easy. You'll feel better. Because I guarantee you something's going to go down this weekend. And these are signs that something bigger is about to happen. So friends, I'm going to recommend you don't go to any rallies between now and after the election. Okay? There are 14 high-tech platforms that have restricted President Trump from their platforms. I think I can name them all. Apple, Facebook, Google, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Shopify, TikTok, Twitch, and Stripe, and Reddit. Those are the big companies that are banning President Trump. They're doing so much to their endangerment because President Trump's not going to tolerate people like this. He'll probably do what he can to destroy those companies. Because he, like me and many of you out there watching this, we consider these big tech, these big international companies to be terrorists if they are aligning themselves with the adversary and saying all manner of evil against Trump and his followers. But we're immune to that crap, and we're going to continue to do the best we can when we can. So, hang in there, my friends, my fellow Americans, because the truth is about to hit the fan in a good kind of way. And we will come out of it all victorious, but, there was a bet placed between Dr. Steve Pieczenik and Alex Jones on Thursday. And Pieczenik said that President Trump would be the president on the 20th. And Alex begged to differ with him. So if President Trump is the president on that date, Steve Pieczenik will get a $200,000 a year salary for InfoWars, and he'll come on and have his own show. So I'm getting ready to contact Dr. Pieczenik and introduce myself and let him know that I would like to be one of the first guests on his show, and that we should continue at all costs to expand our reach of getting the truth out to the masses. So that's it, friends. That's about all I got. But I want you to know the Insurrection Act has been signed. Things are going forward. They're going to tighten up over the weekend. And there's going to be the emergency broadcast is going to kick in. And we're going to get federal warnings about things. We're going to be told to stay in the house. for a while. And no, don't wear your damn mask in the house. Don't wear it while you're driving in your car. Don't wear it at all if you don't want to. But again, there's going to be some major warnings, some major announcements made. There may be even segments of 3 hours at a time of indoctrinating the right side of history into what we need to do, and then also be instructed on what we need to do relative to the Democrats and their chosen path in life. So friends, that's it. I've gone for about 30 minutes and 37 seconds, but know that there is winter in the air. The temperatures are getting colder. I've seen some snow. I saw some snow today during my sojourn up to Oregon. I don't get into any more details than that, but I've had a wonderful day. I did a podcast earlier. I hope you'll go to TrueNewsPodcast.com and that you'll check that out. And I'm going to refer all my video watchers to go down there to HempWorx. Also, I've got a link for that down in the description tag. That's the way I make money. So if you're interested in contributing to the overall success of my channel, I'd like you to check out my HempWorx free tour. If you like what you see, come join my team. Thursdays are paydays at HempWorx. I've been paid every Thursday like clockwork since January 2019. So I do encourage all my viewers out there to check out my channel. No harm, no foul, but it does. Everything that you do relative to HempWorx helps support my cause and my YouTube channel. So friends, I want to thank you all again for tuning in tonight. I'm going to try to post this on Facebook as well, because you deserve to see this information. You deserve to have it at your disposal. And some of you, when you lose your channels or Twitter or whatever, you just throw the towel in and say you're never going to do it again. Well, that's your prerogative. You can do that if you want. But I'm going to do my part to support the Marine Corps and the other patriots who are making a difference, out here in cyberspace. So friends, with that, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful night, a wonderful weekend. Again, TGIF Friday. Don't bog yourself down with too much work this weekend. Be flexible and know that when our president speaks to you, stop what you're doing and listen. Take heed to his words and let's help one another. Service is a wonderful thing to administer to one another, and we can do more of it. We're not doing enough of it. But anyway, service to each other will only help us get through these upcoming trying times. So friends, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad to have you stumble into my video tube, whatever you want to call it. It's a mixture of YouTube and other things, but I'm out here trying my best to share the truth with you, and I hope you'll in turn share my videos far and wide with those people you love and care about. But it's a great time to be alive, friends, and you deserve the very best. So come along for the ride. Come along and see what the work of the Lord looks like, because we're going to make it. That's what we're going to do. You're going to witness the work of the Lord and how he goes about destroying the demon rats. They can't be left to live upon this planet. They must be eradicated, and that's what you're going to see over the next few months. And it's a great time to observe and to report. Become a citizen journalist like myself. Report to the world what's going on out here. And you may just receive major accolades for your efforts. But friends, I'm out of here. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Be safe. Be vigilant. and do the best you can at whatever you set your mind to do. Okay? So take good care. God bless you all. I look forward to doing another video for you real soon. But in the meantime, get yourself educated and teach others. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye now.